Welcome back, everybody. Welcome to another review. Can you see? Can you see? Spanish Escape? Yes. So, what's happening now? I did this review last week because I finished reading this book last week, and I immediately after I finished reading it, I did the review. So now it was time for us to post it, right? Tell me why there's only part 2 and part 3 and there's no part 1. I don't know what happened. I can't even explain it. So this is me redoing something I've already done because I cannot find the video. It's a 3-part novel, so there's like 3 stories in this one, and the story number 2 and story number 3 is but now the story number 1, you know what I'm saying? So here we are redoing it. I'm a little pissed. I won't lie, because I'm redoing it and I'm not even sure what I said in the other 2 videos. I didn't have time to rewatch, and it's a lot. But bear with me if you're seeing similarities or differences, or now you're like, hey, wait, why is... Just understand that this is a take 2 of the part 1 that I did that somehow disappeared and I cannot find. Okay, bear with me. So the guy in the story, I can't pronounce his name because I'm not Spanish, clearly. So I decided to name him Paul. So we're gonna name him Paul again. Okay, I know this is like the first time for you guys. This is like the second time for me. So we named him Paul the first time we did this. He's known for 3 things. He's rich, famous, and notorious. Estelle certainly never expected this gorgeous man to make such an outrageous proposal. He'll settle her financial problems if she agrees to spend a few months as Mrs. Sanchez. So that's like the whole story in a summary, right? Like, I want you guys to tell me what you think after this. What would you say if someone was like, I'm gonna settle your financial problems for you, you only need to marry me, that's all, you need to marry me? The me now, the me that just read this book, I'm definitely getting married, because kuningi guys, kuningi siyakovisha. And if someone is like, hey, I would take care of your financial problems for you, just I'm marrying the person. Okay, the me now. But the me that I want to be, the child of God that I'm thriving to be, will have to be like, I can't, because you know my father owns a cattle on 1,000 hills. You know, he's my provider, he's Jehovah Jireh. That's the me. But the me I was when I was reading this, I was like, yes, ma'am, get the bag. Okay, so what happens? The story starts with Estelle. That's our girl. Okay, Estelle. She's in her race room with her friend Virginia, but she calls her Genie. So it's like, you know, those university dorms in America, but we just say, we call it race, I get it, in South Africa. So yes, they there, and Jeannie is asking Estelle to go out with Gordon. I think, was it Gordon? Yes, Gordon. Gordon. So Gordon is like Jeannie's client, right? Gordon is Jeannie's client. He pays her tons of money, and Jeannie is like an escort. You know, those girls that are like men book them to take them to functions, sleep with them, kind of a thing. So Jeannie's like, please do this, like stand in for me, because he doesn't want any other person in the agency, you know. So when I told him about you and showed him your picture, it's like, okay, cool, he wants you. And Estelle is like, oh, shame. So let me describe Estelle, right? She's quiet, she's laid back, she's into like old buildings, she's into like old architecture and stuff like that. She is nowhere near Jeannie, like fleshy, or she doesn't even put on makeup. She's like your baggy t-shirts and sweatpants girl, right? So she's like, I cannot do this, because have you looked at me, ma'am? Have you looked at me? But Jeannie's like, please just go, I'll sort out the dress for you and everything. And Jeannie was asking this because she knew Estelle needed the money. So why did Estelle need the money? Thank you for asking. Let me tell you. Estelle's brother, so Estelle lost her parents when she was 16, right? And then her brother took over, like, from raising her, paying for her tuition and everything. Now, the year prior to us meeting them, the year prior, The brother had gotten into an accident. This was like a couple of months after he just got married. He got into an accident, so he's wheelchair bound, and they just had a baby, and the baby has a heart problem. So the brother is not working, the sister-in-law is not working, and they have a baby that needs surgery, right? So like finances are needed, and already at this point Estelle is even thinking of like dropping out of university, looking for a job and just taking care of her family, right? She's just wanting to like take care of the brother the same way the brother took care of him. You know, that's how a girl, man. Estelle is like, she puts others before herself, right? So Jeannie knows this, and she's like, this money could help. So obviously a girl ends up agreeing, because again, guys, let's put ourselves in her shoes. She really needed the money. Okay, so she agrees, and then she's like, okay, what happens when he wants to sleep with me? And then Jeannie's like, no, I know you're a virgin, don't worry. So the reason why Gordon was was buying Jeannie is because he's gay, right? But because he's a politician and he had this position in the high places kind of a thing, that could have messed up the whole thing. So he was using Jeannie to make it seem like he's a playboy of some sort, so that people don't realize. But he was gonna come out soon. My head is itchy, I'm sorry. He was gonna come out soon. So Jeannie's like, don't worry, girl, he's not gonna touch you, he's not gonna kiss you. He's like, he probably might, you know, like on the cheek or something in front of people, just to, you know, convince people, but he's not that kind of a person. So when Estelle hears this, she's like, okay, bitch, let me go get my money. So Jeannie's like, okay, good. The driver was set to arrive an hour after that conversation. So they like put her in a dress, makeup, pack things, and then they go, right? And on the other side of town, we meet Paul. When we meet Paul, we meet him, he's already in bed with the secretary. So you heard the notorious, didn't you? He's showing us just how notorious. He's in bed with the secretary. He wakes up and he has this meeting with his dad, right? But before he enters his dad's office, he has a moment with his dad's secretary. So that's where we get to understand that his father's secretary is more like a mother to him, because he lost his mother when he was 5 on an accident. But this we find out later on, right? So he's close to his father's secretary, like close, like she's the closest mother figure he has, right? So he meets his dad. We don't know what happens in the meeting, but we're gonna find out. I don't want to spoil it for you, so we're gonna find out. But it's big, it's huge. He goes to the meeting, and then from the meeting we're transported to the wedding. The wedding is in Scotland. Our girl was looking pretty. They flew there, private jet situations, because Gordon has money. They flew there and they get there, and then while they're waiting for the bride and everything, our guy Paul arrives, a helicopter, and then he lands just like near the reception area. So like everyone's attention is on him, because that's who he is. He thrives on people's attention, you know. He's good looking. So in terms of looks, right, if we were to describe him, you see like those guys on those cologne ads, like those perfume ads, those tall guys with like muscles and black hair, you know, high cheekbones, stuff like that. Yeah, picture those guys. Just pick one. What's your favorite perfume advert? Just pick that guy. That's your guy. As long as he has black hair, that's your guy. Whereas Estelle is not your traditional slender girl. She's a little curvy. She's not chubby, she's curvy, and she's pale, and she also has black hair. Black hair, is it black? I'm not sure about the hair, because it's been that long since I read it, and I read a lot of books to remember people's hair. Don't come for me. Anyway, that's how he looks. He enters the party and everyone's eyes are on him, and Estelle's eyes are on him. So she's staring, because she's like, oh, such a fine man, a fine boy, you know what I'm saying? And then even Gordon had to be like, hey, I know he's good looking, but you kind of here with me. We don't want people seeing you ogling the poor guy. So Estelle's like, okay, I'm sorry, I've never done this before. But Gordon's like, no, he's chill, Shem. He's chill. Even in the plane ride, they were like getting to know each other and everything, right? So after this, as the couple are exchanging vows and everything, Estelle starts crying because to her it's like she's remembering the time when her brother got married and like the situation they're in now. You know, she's really like feeling sorry for her brother. And Paul is behind Estelle and he's seeing this and he's thinking, this one's, he knows the girls, like the kind of girls that Gordon brings. So he's already put Estelle in that basket to say, these girls, you know, that are acting, that are trying to fit in with the rich people, that but they're not all that kind of a thing, you know. Can't she was genuinely being emotional, like genuinely being emotional. And then after the ceremony, as they were about to leave, Paul's ex rocks up to come and greet him, and then he just blows it off. Like apparently she chose someone else, or the father didn't think Paul was the right guy for his daughter. Something about, you know, him not being chosen, so he was still a little bitter about it. And he mises girl, and Estelle is watching this and is thinking, oh, this guy is so rude, you know, for like he's really handsome but he's super rude. So she already doesn't like him that much. Like, first of all, him arriving late and like just taking everyone's attention, and how we just spoke to this lady, she's just like, this is the type of guy I need to stay away from. Kanti Brothers is already scouted. Again, we don't know what happened in the meeting. He wants Estelle. So he goes, because he's friends with the groom. He goes to the event planner, and it's like, in our table there with the groom and his wife, I'm there, please put Gordon and his partner. And then put it in a way, Estelle was in the middle, and then Paul was on her right, Gordon was on her left. So that happens. They get bumped up. They in the VIP table, and Gordon is like, hey, you know, he's a politician, so he's using this time to mingle and socialize. That time Estelle, oh, our girl can't even stomach food because she's really trying to portray to people this image that Gordon wants her to portray. I don't know, where is this flag coming from? Gordon wants her to portray this image, you know, like she's just like a brainless bimbo. But at the same time, this guy, there's an attraction with this guy, but also she's like, I can't be with him because he looks dangerous. These are the kind of guys I need to stay away from. Anyway, because Gordon is socializing, she eventually has to start talking to Paul. And they talk and they realize, oh, okay, really not that bad. He like, you can have a conversation with him. He's intelligent and everything, but he still has that edge, that rude edge situation happening. Anyway, it so happens that, again, this was arranged by Paul. Gordon gets a call, a wake call, and he has to leave Estelle at the table. And then Paul is like, hey, I can dance with her while you go, you know, just keep it cup. And Gordon is like, yes, please, you know, I just brought her here. She doesn't know anyone. I can't change. Paul is this thing planned out, right? So they go to the dance floor, and he's using this manipulative tactic where it's like he's pretending like he doesn't want her, but he's just sending other signals, like confusing her, like, do you want me or do you not want me, kind of a thing. It's all part of his plan. Eventually they dance, there's this chemistry going on, and Gordon comes back, she dances with Gordon, and then they call it a night. Right? When they call it a night, they go back to the room. They have separate rooms. They are separate bedrooms. No, not separate bedrooms, separate beds. I'm sorry. They have separate beds with Gordon, right? So separate beds. And then while they're about to go to bed, Gordon has this machine situation that helps him breathe at night. So he switches it on and it's making noise. Okay, I was never told this, okay? So she decides, since I can't sleep, and this is the wedding was in some sort of a palace, an old palace situation, and she's fascinated, remember I said, about old buildings. So she's like, let me check this out, because I can't sleep because some body's machine is like a vacuum in the room. Okay, she goes outside, she's taking a look at the place, and while she's just admiring the place, Kamu Nangu Paul, right? Paul comes up, but this was a coincidence. He didn't expect to see it. He was running away from his room because his ex, remember the ex that he blew off, the ex that he was rude to, was looking for him, and somehow she had found out his room number and she was coming late. So he was like, okay, he was dodging her. So they get to talk. Even when they're talking there in some like balcony, so when they're talking there, that's when he finds out that her brother was in an accident. And that's when she finds out that his mom died also when he was younger. They bonding. At this point, it's like trauma bonding. They like telling each other the serious things. And then while they are talking, Paul hears the footsteps of our girl, the one he's running away from. So he quickly grabs our girl and kisses her. And they kiss, and then while they're kissing, the girl obviously makes a sound to, okay, or the sound of shock, like, what are you doing, kind of a thing. And then they break off, and then the girl is angry, she storms off. And then Paul asks Estelle to come to his room with him, like, can you come to my room with me? And Estelle translates that to, now that you, like, I can pay you for, you can come to my room and I'll pay you the same way Gordon paid for you, kind of a thing. And she's like offended, she slaps him, which it makes sense when someone's like, come to my room, like, without context, and you already, you're portraying yourself as a prostitute. I get why she would think, right? So she's pissed, she slaps him. After slapping him, she goes back to the room. But then she's Shem, our girl, is Aram Shem. In the morning, she tells Gordon, okay, listen, this is what happened. He kissed me, I wasn't aware, but blah blah blah, like, I'm really sorry. And Gordon's like, hey, the wedding is over, you've done your part, please don't be mad. And also in future, when there's other events, if you don't mind, I would love to go with you, right? And she's thinking, okay, I need the money, so there's a possibility I won't have to drop out of school, I can just go to school and do this on the side, right? So she's thinking about this. Anyway, they go and drop her back at the student accommodation. And when she gets there, she finds that Virginia is on her way out. Her parents are taking her, because again, the reason why Virginia couldn't go with Gordon is because she's sick. So the parents are like, okay, come home with us, we'll take care of you and everything. So when Estelle gets there, they don't even get time to talk. Virginia is leaving, right? And then while Virginia is leaving, Kanti, Paul followed them, right? Paul followed them, and because of that, he sees where they stay. And not only that, he also sees Virginia living in the same room. So he's like, oh, these people are having like a threesome situation with Gordon. He's like disgusted, but also he's like, I'm out of time, I need to get this girl to marry me. Why does he need to get this girl to marry him? Here's the thing. So in that meeting that he had with his dad, turns out his dad is not feeling well, right? He's about to die, and this thing is like, I can't sign over the company to you because you're a playboy, you're always partying. I want to see that you're serious and you're settling down. So he's like, yeah, I'm settling down, I'm actually gonna get married. And he had told Angela like he's getting back together with an ex. It was just like a joke situation, but he plays on the joke. Alright, so when he obviously goes into the room, he gives this information to Estelle, like, okay, I need to get married, I've already planted a seed, this is gonna be a story, we're gonna pretend we met in what was the place that they met it? In Spain, because that year when the brother had an accident, she was in Spain on a school trip. She had to cancel the trips to go back to the brother. So he's like, we're gonna use that, we're gonna pretend like we're dating, you had to leave immediately, and then we lost touch, but now we go back together and we're getting married. And Ukel is like, no. And it's like, this is the money that I'm offering you. Like, money, $1 million, $1 million. The girl is like, this money could, this money could take me far. So they immediately go to the lawyer, to his lawyer. He had brought his lawyer with. They go to the lawyer to iron out the T's and C's, where it's like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. We're gonna get married for as long as my dad is alive. When he dies, we won't divorce immediately. We'll give it like a month or two, and then we'll divorce and pretend like grief. Grief is the reason why we're divorcing. So she's like, okay, cool, I can do that. And it's like, I'm gonna give you $500,000 now and $500,000 after we divorce. And she's like, okay, cool. And then his condition was no kids. We cannot have kids. Like, I don't want kids. We cannot have kids, right? So because of that, the guy's like, I need you to make sure you take whatever contraceptive you need to take. We can't have kids. But if we do happen to have a child, let's say mistakes happen and then we do have a child, if you remain in Spain with me, even though separated, but you continue staying in Spain with me, then we'll raise the child together. But if you leave and come back to America, then I'm sorry, but the child is gonna have to stay in Spain. So like, she knows she can't fall pregnant because she can't stay in Spain because her family is this side, right? Okay. Anyway, they agree, they sign, they go in, on the same day they go to her brother. She introduces Upho to the brother, but because they already have this chemistry going on, it's easy for people to believe them when they say they're in love. You know, it's not like, it's active, but it's not so obvious, it's not in your face. And the brother's like, okay, when are you getting married? And they're like, in a week. The brother's like, in a week? Bro, you just introduced me to the guy. And you know I can't fly out because obviously he's still in recovery. The sister-in-law can't fly out because the daughter is still young and they're still waiting for the surgery confirmation and stuff. So she's like, oh no, it's okay. You guys, you know, even though you guys can't be there, but it's fine. I just wanted you guys to know this is what's happening. And she goes, like, I think 2 days after that, she goes to Spain with Upho. They get there, and during that like 4 days of preparation, he gets like a new wardrobe, he gets a makeup, he gets like this stringy things, short things, and she's not even that girl, but she can't say it now because the contract is signed. She has to do whatever he wants her to do. So anyway, they get married. On the day of the wedding, she's asking herself questions like, do I even want to do this? Is this worth it? And then like Paul realizes, like, I think he realized in the 4 days that she was so miserable. He realizes this and he arranges for the brother to come with a private jet to the wedding. So the brother comes, walks it down the aisle. It's beautiful. The celebration happens, you know, the reception and everything, it happens, the celebration, they dance and everything. Night time comes. Now the guy thinks girl sells a body for a living. The girl was a virgin, she's never slept with somebody, and now that obviously that truth is gonna come out. And one of the things in the contract was like, no lies, we can't lie to each other. And girl's panicking. She's panicking because she's like, can I fake this? Like, what can I do? But also she's like, she's seen that he's drinking, so she's like, I just hope he's too drunk that he won't realize what is what. Yeah? Anyway, that happens, and then after the wedding, like when they leave, apparently in Spain, the wedding couple has to leave after everyone has left. So they wait for everyone to leave and then they leave. And then during that time, that's when she's like, I've never slept with anyone before. And the guy thinks it's some sort of a joke or some sort of a play or something. He's like, yeah, I've also never slept with someone. Okay, anyway, they go. And when they go, they go to the hotel, because it started off at a hotel. They go to the hotel, and when they get there, she says like, I'm really serious, like, this is my first time. And the guy's like, yeah, it's our first time. He's still not getting it. Anyway, and then they get to do the deed, and then the guy realizes that it's actually what she's saying is true, right? And that freaks him out because it's like it kind of ruins the picture that he had in his mind of her. It was easier for him to like ask that of her because he already thought she sells her body for a living, and he thought this is way better than just sleeping with random dudes for money. In this case, you're just sleeping with me and I'm giving you money. So now it's like he's coming to a realization that actually she doesn't do this for a living. So who is she? What does she do? You know? And it's like, it's kind of too late for you to start wanting to know somebody now, you know, because they're married now and everything. So he's pissed off. And literally, why is this fly? Is that a fly? Yes, it's a fly away. Okay, sorry. So it pisses him off because this changes the plans, and he realizes that it means this is new to her, you know. And then he realizes that she probably agreed because of the dire situation at home. This is not even her thing, but he can't pick up now because the date is already approved of the relationship. So they go to the honeymoon. They on like this cruise situation, and while they're there, the dad tells him that he's getting married to his PA. So now here's the big story. His mom died when he was 5. She was driving in the rain and the car slid off the cliff. Why was she driving in the rain in the first place? Is because his dad was having an affair with his PA, the one that he considered as his mother now, and they had a child. And on that day, when the mom was driving at night, is because the PA had just given birth to the child, and the mom wanted to see is it true, like is it really happening? In his mind he thought, because on that day he had this argument with his mom, and the 5-year-old him had told his mom that I hate you and I wish you would die. So when that happened the same night, he really felt like he did that, like he caused the accident and is the reason why his mother died. And he grew up with that guilt. So he was really angry with his dad to say, you let me grow up with this guilt knowing that she died because of you. Right? Okay. It's not even coming to my face. Hectic. So that happens, and when the dad announces that he's still gonna go ahead and marry his PA, he's so mad he misses the whole relationship. So the 2-week honeymoon ends up becoming a 3-week one because he's avoiding his dad and the wedding. But eventually they go back, and when they go back, during this cruise they really get to bond. He really just gets to see how different she is from like what he thought she was, right? They're bonding and everything. But when they get back, get back to the land, to where they're gonna stay and everything, I think it starts generating this hate for women because of what his father's PA did to his mother. And it's just, at this point, it's like, who can I trust? Who can I trust? Because the person I trusted as a mother is the reason why my mother died, right? But girl is really, at this point, she's in love, you know. She's in love, and she's trying to help heal the relationship between him and his dad. But when they get back to land, he doesn't want anything to do with this dad, and because of the anger that he has, he's always out clubbing and partying. And because of the contract that they signed, they need to be together in those situations. Now our girl doesn't like clubbing at all or anything, but now she's being dragged to those things constantly because that's what the contract says. And she can't even tell him, like, dude, I don't even like this, because he became a different person when they got back to their house. He was just, I think that's when he started processing the whole thing. He was just so angry, and he was lashing out on her, like really lashing out on her. But they were still sleeping together. They slept together like on a daily basis. But there was this gap, and she still was trying to bridge that gap to really cross over to him and help him, but he was not having it. Eventually, the dad gets really, really sick, and Angela, the PA, is like, guys, I really need you to come, because you're gonna have this guilt, the same guilt you had with your mom, you're gonna have it if this guy dies and you don't come to his last dying days or something. Eventually he agrees to go, and he goes with Still. Now that same day they're gonna go, our girl is not feeling well. She goes to the clinic because she's thinking a change of environment. They were in the water for too long. Now they're on land. Is it the food? She doesn't understand. Something is wrong. She knows she's not okay, so she's trying to find out what is wrong. At this point, they'd been big for like a month, so she's trying to find out what is wrong. She goes there, and then she finds out she's pregnant. She is panicking. She is panicking because the agreement stated no child, no pregnancy, no nothing. So now she's pregnant. She knows she can't tell Ukai, because Ukai, remember, he's still in this angry state. Like, he's really being a jerk at this point. If you read the story, you won't like him at this point, because all he does is take her to clubs, talks down on her, but he still wants to be there every night. Like, she was so exhausted. She was so exhausted. She was losing weight. She couldn't even tell her family because they don't know that this is an arrangement. She doesn't have anyone to tend to. Anyway, that night when he comes back, she says nothing, because in her mind she's like, I'm gonna hide this pregnancy until the father dies. Hopefully the father dies before I start showing, and then I will immediately go to my family and I'll raise my child without his knowledge. Sounds like a good plan. Actually, that was my first thought when she found out she's pregnant. I'm like, we have to hide the pregnancy. We need to hide it, because clearly, you know what I'm saying. Anyway, when she thinks that, I'm like, yes, girl, I support you. Yeah. Anyway, they go to the date, and they have the first night when they have dinner. The other son, Paul's brother Luca, he comes, and he also has this anger, because to him it's like he grew up with this thing that I'm the illegitimate child, the child that they had to hide. Whereas Paul is also angry because it's like, my dad had the opportunity to come and be a father to me, but he was always traveling. That traveling, he was with the other family. So to Paul, it's like, you are the chosen son. He loved you more. He spent his time with you. He sent me to be raised by my aunties and my uncles and my grandparents. He raised you, kind of a thing. So they are both angry at the circumstances. They're not being angry at the father, because the father is a scumbag, and you know why in a second. They're not angry at the father, but they're angry at each other, because it's almost like you are his child. People, you can flaunt that you are his child. I cannot. I have to use my mom's surname. And Paul is like, you were raised by him. You were chosen by him. I was raised by my grandparents, kind of a thing. So they're both angry at each other. And Angela and Stu decide they were not going to get involved. They'll have to sort it out as brothers. Anyway, they have dinner, awkward dinner, but anyway, they get through it. They go to bed. In the morning, Paul and Estelle decide to take a walk, and Estelle is just showing, Paul is just showing Estelle around the place where he grew up and everything. And when they come back, they realize his dad passed on. So like that was quick. The dad passes on literally like 2 months after they get married. So the dad passes on, right? And the agreement with the dad was that if Paul marries and he shows that he's going to be a family man and he's going to be more grounded and stop the partying, the dad is going to sign over the company to him. Mind you, the company is Paul's mother's company, right? So the dad doesn't even have that liberty to be calling shots. What does the dad do? When the dad passes away and the will is read, turns out the dad left the company to his other son, the illegitimate son, and he left Paul some wine thingy somewhere, like a wine company or something. And I was like, it's our mother's company. It's our mother's company. You didn't leave it to us as her kids. You left it to your mistress's child, the same mistress that caused her to die. Guys, yabona laba bashisa abafana badlule bethanda ubaba kaPaul la emangcwabeni, angazi uzomthola kuyiphi cemetery lapha eSpain, nimdonse naye noshisa leso sidumbu. Because what do you mean you took our mother's company and gave it to your other family? Like, you're gonna leave us dry, high and dry. Our mother's company. When the mom got married, she took a step back and let the husband, because the husbands are supposed to lead. She took a step back and like, no, hubby, lead. And this is what it does. He cheats on her, gets her killed, because at this point he's the one who got her killed. Gets her killed, and then in his dying days, he signs over the company to his illegitimate son. When this happened, I was like, no wonder Paul is this way. No wonder he's so rude. No wonder he has this anger. And I don't blame him. Let him be angry. Let him be angry, because how dare you? How dare you? Sis, man, I was... So the ones that are the team, they know themselves. The team that is always saying, she's over fine, please, bend them. But on your way, fetch the father there by the cemetery and bend him as well, because who does he think he is? I was so... But this move further angers Paul. And then during this time, this is where it's like, okay, I brought this child here. She's already suffering. She was already suffering, and I brought her here. Now, it's not that he doesn't have money of his own. He has his own company, and also what this dad left for him, also there's money. But he was so angry with this dad, he didn't even want that. So he has money, but it's not the kind of money that he had when he married her. And he's like, how am I going to take care of her? Will I be able to take care of her? Am I going to make her starve? Like, do I even have the financial capacity to take care of this girl? So he decides, I'm going to make her leave me. I'm not going to be the one who cancels the contract. Because there was a clause there, I think, that if he cancels the contract, he will have to pay more. Whoever cancels the contract, he said that she's going to lose out on the money, or he's going to have to pay more. Kind of a situation. So he goes to a bar, pays a girl, and tells the girl to kiss his collar and spray her perfume on him, so that when he gets home, she would think he's cheating, and then she'll get it and leave. Gandhi, that same night, a girl receives a call. Not before she received a call. Before, so after they left the will reading, and they got home now as a married couple again, and she's trying to advise him to say, hey, don't give up, or rather do this and that. She's trying to be helpful and console him. And then he responds by saying, remember, we're not a real couple. Why are you saying we? There's no we, there's me. I'll sort myself out. So when he left after that, she really cried, because at this point she loves the guy. She's pregnant, and now he's shutting her out, and she doesn't know how to go about it. And then in the same night situation, she gets a call from the sister-in-law and it's like, if you can come, please come. She's the niece was getting operated on the next day in the morning. So she starts packing her bags, right? And when he gets home, like from the moment he enters the door, you can hear that she's crying and is thinking, oh I hate this girl, I really hurt her, and this is wrong of me. Like she didn't do anything wrong. There's nothing that she did that warrants me to treat her like this. So he's having this moment where he's realizing he's been a jerk and he's trying to make things right, because also now he realizes, actually I wanted to leave, but also he doesn't want it to leave, because it's like, this person is like the person I've considered my family for those past 2 months, and I don't want it to go. So whatever it is, let me see if she can stick around even if I don't have money. At that time, this fool forgets he has lipstick and whatever all over him. So when he goes upstairs, his intention is, I'm gonna apologize and I'm gonna work it out with the hair, because he's had a moment to think about it. Is there the moment where the anger just subsides and he's thinking clearly to say, okay, I really want her in my life because I have no one else. I've lost my dad. She's the closest thing to family that I have. So why am I doing this? Why am I pushing her away? He gets upstairs, he finds that she's crying, and she's like, don't worry, I'm not crying for you. My niece, she's getting operated on tomorrow. It's a either or. It's either she's gonna make it or she won't make it. And he starts comforting her, gives her a hug. And while she's in the hug, there by a snake pike, while she's here, a snake pike, she's like, why do you smell like that? My aunt, I want a lipstick. Oh my word. And she's just like, really? We have a fight here and you go out and sleep with someone else? You know what? It's cool. We're done. Sharp. She takes a bag and he's like, okay, can I at least get you like a private jet so you get there in time and everything? I'll fly after you. And she's like, no, don't come. This is not your family. We're not even a real family. I get it. That's what you said. You said we're not a real family. So who are you? When you come in to comfort my family, who are you? Right? Kind of a thing. So she's like, nah. Anyway, she goes, and then he goes to see Angel. Somehow, even though he's angry at her, because this is the mother that he knew growing up, he needs advice. So he goes there, and he's so down and out. And Angela's like, oh, so what's wrong? And he tells her, it's okay, the nurse is getting surgery. It's an either-or situation, and still is broken. And Angela's like, oh, shame. I can't begin to imagine something like that, you know. And I don't think the stress is good for the baby. And Angela. So Angela did manage to see that Estelle is pregnant, yeah? But Estelle was like, oh, I haven't told to Paul. So Angela thought it's just some secret to Estelle usazomtshela, you know, she wants to do like a grand reveal situation. So in that moment when she's like, I don't think that's good for the baby, I'm like, ma'am, it's not enough that you take other people's husbands. Nama secret, you can't keep secrets, because Estelle asked her, like, can you not say anything until I say something? Look at it, umlomo omkhulu. Thatha amadoda abantu neendaba zabantu everywhere uAngela. I don't even like her. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't like Angela. So when she says that, I'm just like, okay. And it's like, what, baby? And she's like, oh, she still hasn't told you. I thought she would have told you by now. It's just been a week. Just a week. Why would you say something? Anyway, he already, now it's like, you know what, now it's not even a case of should I or shouldn't I. He's like, I need to fight for my family. I need to get my girl back and I need to get my child back. So he flies, he goes to America, and he goes to the hospital. The brother-in-law and sister-in-law are receiving him well, because they don't know those people are fighting. They don't know this was fake. They don't know anything. But Ugel doesn't want him anywhere near her family, and she's avoiding him the entire time, but he doesn't go. He's supporting them and everything. And during this time when she's talking to the brother and trying to find out like how can she help, the brother's like, no, you've helped us enough, you know, we just wanted you here, but you've helped us enough. And she's like, the bills? And then he's like, no, don't worry about it. Well, Paul took care of it, and also Paul gave me a job. And like, Paul gave you a job? And then the brother's like, yeah, he did. So you won't have to take care of me anymore. I can now take care of my family and everything. And now she's thinking, how can this guy do this? Because now she doesn't have a reason to say she's dumping him, because he's just, to them, he's just this, he's here. rank ila. He's just doing everything correct. He's checking boxes. So she pulls him to the side and is like, I don't know what game you're playing, but I want you to cancel what you're doing. You can't play with my brother. You've already played with me. You can't play with my brother. And the guy's like, I'm not playing. Like, your brother is really talented, and I want him on the team. You know, even though he's now in a wheelchair, that doesn't change anything. Even though he's disabled, it doesn't change anything. He's still brilliant, and I want him on the team. And the girl was like, so how would this play out when we break up? Obviously, because we're not gonna be together forever. I'm dumping you, right? We're divorcing. And the guy's like, no, we are not divorcing. I'm not letting you go. It's Sana. And the girl was like, no, you cheated. What? And it's like, no, I paid the girl to do that because I wanted to drive you away. But then I realized, why would I drive you away? Because you're my family and I love you. And the girl was like, yeah, no, you're just saying that. But the guy's like, I'm not going anyway. Whatever you need me to do to prove, I'll prove it. But our girl is also still skeptical. Anyway, they're in the hospital for a couple of days. Luckily, the surgery is a success and our niece is okay. And then after that, that's when now Paul is really like, you know, working on getting Estill back. So all the things he's learned about Estill, he's taking her out on those meaningful dates, like meaningful dates to her that includes things that she loves. And he really is starting to show her that he was paying attention. Even when it's movies, he's watching movies that she loves. It's almost like he starts showing her that I've been paying attention. I know you, right? And it melts our girl a little too soon, because I was hoping with Drake the silent treatment and the anger a couple of months, but eventually she realizes that okay, he was paying attention, he sees me, he knows me, and he wants this, right? And eventually when she's about to like say, hey, listen, I'm pregnant, it's like, I knew, I just didn't want to say it because I didn't want you to think I'm here because of the child. I wanted you to know that it's my heart. That's the reason why I'm here. So anyway, they fix things, they go back, and then in the epilogue is where, do they have more kids? Let me check. Oh, in the epilogue, right? I literally just went to the same page. In the epilogue, they're at Gordon's wedding with his who is Gordon marrying? Hey boo. Okay, so it doesn't say who Gordon is marrying, right? But Gordon is getting married to his lover, a man. Ginny is now with Gordon's son, and Estill is heavily pregnant. They're there with Paul, and it's while they are at that wedding that her water breaks and she goes into labor, and that's how it ends. Yay! Yeah, that's how it ends. It doesn't even say does it say if they gave birth to a girl or not? Oh yeah, they did. She gave birth to the girl. I'm mixing stories, I'm so sorry. She did give birth to a girl. Luca is still distant, but Angela was there throughout the whole thing. And they named the child Gabriela after Paul's mother. So yeah, she gives birth to a baby, Gabriela, and then they also named the baby Angela. Hey, mother. So they named the baby after Paul's mother, and they decide in the same breath to put the mistress's name there. I don't know what's happening in the story. Yeah. I don't know what to say. I had forgotten that part totally. That then gave the daughter the grandmother's name and the mistress's name, all in the same. I wonder what they'll tell her when she finds out, when she's grown, there explaining. I wonder how she will feel. How would you feel that they gave your grandmother's name, the grandmother that died, and they gave you her nemesis name in the same breath? I don't understand the logic. But anyway, that was the first story. I'm sorry it's such a rushed job because I have to go somewhere and I didn't have time. I don't have time any other time to do it other than this short period of time. But yeah, that was the story. what's the name of the story? Because these stories have names. Thinking I Spanish. Yeah, the playboy of Puto something. I don't know if you guys can see. Yes, where they Puto don't they ambon. I can't read Spanish, but if someone wants to pronounce the things or to teach me Spanish, feel free to let me know. I'm open to having lessons. I love learning new things. So that was the first part of the book. Stay tuned for part 2 and part 3.